All right.
Good.
Oh, perfect. So my name's Allie. I am the Senior Director of Programming for the First Tee. I'm going to give you a little bit of what First Tee is about and who it involves. So First Tee, we are here to try to build game changers by empowering kids and teens through the game of golf. So throughout the First Tee, we mainly focus on 7 to 18-year-olds. There are some courses around the state of Indiana that do offer 4 to 6. There are over 200 classes across the state of Indiana and growing, and with over 3,000 kids that participate in classes throughout the year. This is really hard to read, but basically what this shows here is that First Tee focuses on 5 key commitments, and those key commitments we want to see as they grow throughout time. So that is, we want to see them pursuing goals, growing through challenge, collaborating with others, building that self-identity, and using good judgment. If we're able to see that throughout the class periods, we know that we're doing what is right, and they are learning throughout the time and growing as a person and as a golfer. So it's just broke down into age, and this is just specific for the age. So there, here it talks about 7 to 9. The next age group would be 10 to 11. And then he's going to turn the slide, and you'll see that it's 12, 13, and then 14 plus. And then ACE is kind of like Eagle Scouts. It's the capstone for the First Tee program, and it looks really good on a resume. We have about 10 kids currently going through the ACE program as we speak. So that's just a big project. It actually helps them guide and kind of figure out what they want to do in the future and maybe what they want to pursue throughout college. So beyond First Tee, so yes, it's like a clinic style golf at courses, but beyond that, and what people really like is that there's national opportunities. So we've had kids go play at Pebble. We had a kid go 2 years ago. We've got some kids that just applied. Hopefully they'll be able to get into Montana, Atlanta, and Minnesota this year. And then down to Florida is another opportunity. These are all paid for. The kids don't have to pay for anything. We also offer a couple of statewide opportunities. We've got a leadership day, which will actually be at our new facility, which will open in June, which we're really excited about. So that'll be at there. And then we also have a state championship that is in the end of July. Just like the junior tour, we also do handicaps for the kids, or, you know, if they need it through Gen Golf or Youth on Course memberships as well. There are scholarships always available, and then they can enter into the junior coach program and possibly get paid to do some coaching. So basically how to sign up for this, you can always go to indianagolf.org, and then in that upper corner, it'll say like juniors, and then you can scroll down to see First Tee. And then because we are such a big organization, since we're statewide, there are 19 locations. So the best way to look is through those locations to find out where you're located. And that'll tell you which golf courses are offering classes. If you ever have any questions, I mean, you can always email me, but it's easiest to search kind of with the cities and then see what cities are offering First Tee classes. And we are now currently at 70 golf courses that offer First Tee classes, actually. And so now it is Andrew's turn.
Thanks, Allie. Like Nathan said, my name is Andrew Gent. I am the Director of Player Development for Indiana Golf. I'm going to touch on 2 programs here. The first one is Drive, Chip, and Putt. Drive, Chip, and Putt's a nationwide skills competition for boys and girls ages 7 to 15. The age is based on April 5th of 2026, which is the Drive, Chip, and Putt National Finals for next year. The way it works is it's a free competition for anybody to enter as long as they are 7 to 15. All skill levels are welcome, from beginners to your more advanced players. The way the competition works is each player will hit 9 shots. They will hit 3 drives, 3 chip shots, and 3 putts. And the goal is to accumulate as many points as possible. And I'll touch on how you accumulate those here on the next slide. Maybe in another slide here. The way the competition works, there's 4 levels to it. Everyone will start off at a local qualifier, which local qualifiers are open for registration right now. You can only participate in one local qualifier. So if you participate in one and your child doesn't get through, you cannot participate in another one. You've got Registration will close 5 days prior to each event, and you have up until midnight the night before to withdraw. Starting at the local level, the top 3 in each age and gender division, top overall scorers will move on to the sub-regional round. From there, the top 2 in each division will move on to the regional round. And then at the regional round, the overall top place finisher will move on to the national finals, which is at Augusta National Golf Club the Sunday before the start of the Masters. So here's how the event is set up and how it's run. At the drive station, there's a grid that we set up that is 300 yards long by 40 yards wide. Points are based here on distance and accuracy. So points are based where the ball stops. As long as the ball stops within the grid that we have set up, points will get awarded for that shot. The farther down the range it stops, the more points that shot is worth. Any shot that comes to rest outside of the grid is 0 points for that shot. Players will then move over to the chip station where they'll hit a chip shot from 10 or 15 yards. Over there are 5 different 2-foot circles around the hole. Here, points are based on proximity to the hole on where the ball stops. The closer to the hole the ball stops, the more points will be awarded there. The one caveat at the chip station is you cannot use a putter. From there, though, they will go to the putt station where they will hit a putt from 6 feet, 15 feet, and 30 feet to a similar target like what they'll see at the chip station, except the circles now will be 1 foot apart instead of 2. And again, points are based on proximity to the hole. From start to finish, the whole process takes roughly 20, 25, 30 minutes. So it's very quick and very, very easy. In addition to the opportunities to advance to future rounds, there are awards given out for the top 3 overall finishers in each skill division. So for drive, chip, and putt, we will give awards out to the top 3 finishers. Any tiebreakers follow a pretty lengthy process. It starts with the overall putting score, and then if there's still a tie, it goes to the 3rd score, then to the 2nd score, and then back to the 1st putt score. If it's still tied, we'll repeat the process for the chip scores. And then if it's still tied again, we'll do the process all over again for the drive skill. This is more so for the sub-regional round, but if there are any alternates, they will be pulled from the same qualifier that the participant who withdrew from. So if there's a person who's qualified through site A that withdraws, the first alternate would get that spot into the sub-regional round and beyond. So here's the schedule of our 2025 local qualifiers. Anybody who starts at a local qualifier, the sub-regional and regional round is your path to Augusta National and the Drive, Chip, and Putt National Finals. If you go to drivechipandputt.com and put your zip code in, that will pull up the closest qualifier to you. If you live in an area that's close to one of the borders on the state, you're more than welcome to qualify at a different location. Just your sub-regional and regional round path might look a little bit different than what ours is here. But again, these are our local qualifiers for 2025, and registration is now open for those. So switching gears here, we're going to talk about PGA Junior League. Really an awesome program. Focuses mostly on fun and then skill development second. And again, all skill levels are welcome to play. Each PGA Junior League team is led by a PGA coach. And their whole goal is to make sure the kids are having fun in a safe and organized environment. How it works is within a junior league match, players will play in pairs in a head-to-head 9-hole match. Players will play a scramble format with a max score of triple bogey. And the match is broken down into 3 3-hole segments. So it's not one continuous one 9-hole match. It's broken up into 3 3-hole segments. PGA Junior League does have 13U and 17U divisions, and the league age of each player is based on the age of the child as of July 31st. 13U is going to be the most common division that we have, but 17U is growing. And some coaches across the state are also starting to offer up, 6-hole leagues or 5-hole leagues for players who are, call it 6 to 9 or 5 to 8. So there are some more opportunities coming for some younger players as well. So here's kind of a little infographic on how the format works. So we've got Team Raptor against Team Talon here in the overall game. Then in one match, there are 2 players on each team playing against each other in the scramble format. And then down below, you'll see the flag on the scorecard there. So the way that'll work is it's 3-hole matches again using match play scoring. So if Team Raptor wins the first hole, Team Talon wins the second hole, and Team Raptor then wins the third hole, Team Raptor wins that flag and they will get 1 point for their team. So within that, there's also league play in PGA Junior League. Leagues are either broken up, one as a multi-facility league where there'll be 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 different courses who are all part of one league. And some programs, they will just do all one league in-house. These leagues are all set up by the facility demands, facility preferences, and also the PGA coaches' preferences as well. Program cost. So there is a upfront cost of $110, which is called the Game Changer Club membership. This membership is a one-time fee, and it essentially covers the cost of the players' jerseys, hats, additional swag that they will get. But they will also allow, but the Game Changer membership also allows you to participate in multiple PGA Junior League programs and just pay the coaching fee. So if you sign your child up for a program that I'm running, you'll pay the $110 cost plus the coaching fee, which we'll get into here in a second. But then if you want to do another program that Allie is running later in the fall into the winter, you would just pay whatever her coaching fee is. So the coaching fee is a fee that is set by each PGA coach, and it's based on the number of experiences that we call it that the kids will get. So practices, matches, plus the time for their coaching, maybe some other perks or activities that come with the program. And last year, the average coaching fee was right around $215. So all in, you'd be looking at about $325 there. So this is just a sample breakdown of what a program might include and what it might charge. It would cover the $110 game changer fee plus, let's say there's a $200 coaching fee. So you're all in at $310. If coach gives you 5 practices and 5 matches, you're looking at roughly $31 per time going to the golf course. With Junior League as well, there are competitive all-star opportunities. Each league does have the option to submit an all-star team to compete in the Indiana PGA Junior League Section Championship. For 13-year-old leagues, there are 8 players on a team, and each player must be 10 years old or older. For 17U leagues, it's also 8 players on the team, but each player must be 14 years old or older on July 31st. From there, all of the league all-star teams compete at the Indiana PGA Junior League Section Championship. And from there, our advancing teams would move on to the regional round, which this year will be in Wisconsin, and will compete against those teams from Illinois, Michigan, and Wisconsin. And then the regional winner from there would move on to the national championship and compete against teams from all over the country. So program registration is live now. To register or to find a program, visit pgajuniorleague.com. And again, you can put in your zip code and it will pull up programs that are close to you. You may see some programs that require an access code or club membership. If you do see that, you can still click on the register and it will send an email to the PGA coach who is running that program. We can't guarantee that you would still be able to sign up for that, but that is an option for you there. If there's no program in your area, please let us know. We're always trying to find new professionals to get on board and run the program and reach out to as many players as we can.
Awesome. Thanks, Andrew. Before we move on to our last section, which is our Howard Bailey Junior Golf Program, does anyone have any questions they'd like to ask Andrew or Allie in regards to First Tee or PGA Junior League or Drive, Chip and Putt? Before I move on, you can either unmute and ask or type in the chat. Any questions whatsoever? Okay. If you have any, like I said, at the end, we'll have a Q&A at the end if you guys want to ask anything, or you can just type in the chat now, and we'll get it to you. Okay, so we're going to talk about our Howard Bailey Junior Golf Program that I am the coordinator for. So just to real quick start out, the four main program goals that we have through this junior program is, we really want our players to take these four things away when they play on our junior tour throughout the year. So that would be to learn the rules and etiquette of the game. That's pretty important when it comes to our tour, gaining quality competitive experience, and to further develop themselves not only as a player but also as a person. There's a lot of life skills that you can learn in the game of golf, and we try to do our best to see if our players can develop those kinds of skills. Also, meeting great people and making friends along the way. Like I said, this is a statewide junior tour and programs where there's a lot of opportunities to meet new people from different parts of the state, and especially in the groups that they would be playing in. So it's a great opportunity there to make new friends. And then also, most important thing on the golf course is to have fun while playing. That's definitely something that I still have to tell myself now when I'm on the golf course. So that's a big thing we want our junior players to have as well when they're playing. So just to kind of overview to start here, so we have two main tours that are separated by ages here. So first we have what's called our prep tour, which our prep tour is for girls and boys ages 7 to 12. And between those 7 to 12 ages, we divide those based on divisions at a prep tour event. So at any of our one-day prep tour events, we're going to divide your player by 7 to 8, 9 to 10, and 11 to 12. So 7 and 8-year-olds are going to play together, 9 and 10, and then 11 to 12 are going to play in the same groups together, and they're also going to compete in that division as well. So when it comes to 7 to 10-year-olds, they're going to play 9 holes, and then our 11 to 12-year-olds would play 18 holes for that prep event. And when it comes to membership for the year is $45, and that is a requirement to play in prep tour events. You'll need to get that membership for the year before you can sign up for any tournaments. And then when it comes to the actual tournament, it is $20 to play per tournament, which would be for 9 holes, and then $30 for 18 holes. Just to kind of, broad terms, what you can expect at a tournament day for a prep tour event. So typically we're going to have it's going to be a tee time start beginning at, it could be as early as 7:30 in the morning or 8. It could be later. It's ultimately up to the golf course and what they're going to give us for the day in terms of tee times, and also it's dependent on the field size. And each tournament will have that start time and pairings on, I call it the TIP page. It's our tournament info page, and you'll find that on our 2025 junior golf schedule, whatever event you want to maybe sign them up for. If there's any questions that you had about general information, what yardage they might play, pairings, tee times, you can find it on that tournament info page. Any kind of information that you might have or questions you might have about the event. And just some quick player responsibilities that we expect at these events. So, we expect those players to, your player to keep track of not only the other person in your score or the other person in your group keeping track of their score, while also keeping track of their own score. They must carry their own bag, or they can use a push or pull cart on their own. Fixing ball marks, taking care of the course, replacing divots, raking bunkers, and just being courteous to other players in their group along with others on the golf course. Understanding the basic rules of golf. Another thing is, there won't be a prep event, junior tour event where you are out there and there's no representative from our office. I'll have, between 2 and 3 interns that are representatives of the Indiana Golf Office that'll run and facilitate those events. So if you ever have any questions on a ruling for your player, and maybe there's a situation that comes up, maybe there's weather, those interns are the ones that are going to handle all of those situations. So it's not like, the Wild West out there. You're going to have people there that are, rules officials, monitoring pace of play, and making sure that, the event runs as smooth as it can. And another big thing for the prep tour, maximum score is in effect. So our maximum score is double par. So For example, if your player is on a par 4 and maybe they're on their 7th, their 5th, their 8th or 9th shot, and they haven't hold it yet, they can just go ahead and pick up and put an 8 for that. So our maximum score is in effect for those prep tour events, and that's double par. And that's the same for our junior tour as well. So just to go over our junior tour, that's for our older players, for girls and boys ages 13 to 19. And we separate those age divisions by 13 to 15 and 16 to 19 there. For these events, all players are going to play 18 holes at each of those junior tour events. And like I said, maximum score is also in effect for those one-day junior events as well. Players are also not allowed to play up or down in their division for any reason whatsoever. So a 15-year-old is not going to be able to play in the 16 to 19 division, and they're not, and vice versa. So no tournament limit. That would be the same for our prep tour as well. The players can play in as many tournaments as they want. We do have a season-long point standings list to where players can win Player of the Year, depending on how many points they might get for those one-day events. But that for the standings and points is capped at their best 6 events. But they can play in as many tournaments as they want. We're just going to take their best 6 scores when it comes to tallying up points for the end of the year awards. And membership for a junior tour is $65 compared to $45 for the prep tour. And that's also, again, required to play in those one-day junior tour events. And then per tournament, it's going to be $40 to play 18 holes there. With the junior tour membership, they can also be eligible to play in other events that we have, including team series events, our championship events, which are 2+ days, and then our spring and fall series events. Spring series events for the girls, and then fall series events for the boys. Just a general lookout for a junior tour tournament day. It's the same kind of thing as a prep tour. Player responsibilities, they also need to keep track of not only another player in their group score, but their own score. Make sure they carry their own bag and use a push or pull cart. Take good care of the course and have a basic understanding of the rules of golf. A little bit different here for junior tour events. If we have a larger field, we might do a shotgun start compared to tee time starts. It's all dependent on what the course wants and allows for field size. But if we have a larger field size, we'll do our best to do a shotgun start. That makes it a little bit easier compared to doing tee times. If it's a shotgun start, players just need to be checked in at our check-in area that we'll have duly marked about 30 minutes before that shotgun start starts. And then make sure if it's a tee time start, they just need to be at their tee time 10 minutes prior to make sure they get their scorecard, learn any local rules, and get teed off for the day. And then also any announcements for a shotgun start will be made about 10 to 20 minutes before we send them out to their hole. Some quick membership benefits that players would receive by getting a prep or junior tour membership, or paying that $45 for the prep or $65 for the junior tour. So they're going to receive a tour towel and bag tag, their own Players Club account through Blue Golf to where they can track tournament scores. They can put in any swing data, analytical data from shots, greens and regulation, all of that kind of data they can use with that Players Club account and kind of log their season to see kind of how they're progressing along for that. Like I said, certain awards for tournaments. We do, for our prep and junior tour events, top 3 receive medals. So they'll receive a bronze, silver, or gold medal. And also a cool thing about that is, if we have ties for first at those events, we'll do a hole-by-hole playoff for that first place and medal there. And then at our 2+ day championship events, whether it is, it'll be either a gold or a glass trophy. It could be a plaque. It could be a wooden flag. We try to, spruce those up a little bit when it comes to awards for those championship events. But any of those one-day tournaments, top 3 would receive medals. You're also going to receive drink tickets at each tournament that you can use for any kind of drink in the clubhouse. So if you're playing 18 holes, whether you're 11 to 12 in the prep or on the junior tour, you're going to get 2 drink tickets for the day. And then if you play 9 holes on the prep tour, you're just going to get that 1 drink ticket that you can use for basically anything in the pro shop to get to drink water, Powerade, a pop, anything like that. Another thing that we try to pride ourselves on is, good member pricing on certain tournaments. I would say, in comparison to other junior tours that are out there, I think that we do our best to keep member pricing down for tournaments and for membership. and we try to take pride in that to make sure our tournaments are the most cost effective that they can be, to make sure we can get the most amount of people out there on the golf course and playing, for sure. And then another thing that members receive is it's called the Indiana Golf Number, but it's basically your handicap. So you get a free handicap with the membership, and that you can use. You can use it, you can't use it, or you can choose not to use it. It's totally optional. But if you want to, get a handicap index for the year, you can definitely get that through this membership here. And I have 13 and up there. So the only reason I say that is it's through the USGA handicap console. And if players are 12 or younger, they need to have a parent or guardian email and name on that account. So if you, for any reason, want to get them a handicap index, you'll just reach out to me directly and I can get it set up on our end. But 13 and up, they don't require that, so it's easier for us to create that handicap index for them. But if you want anything whatsoever like that, just reach out to me if your child is 12 or younger, and I can get it set up for you. And then another thing here is they also receive Youth on Course, which Allie kind of touched on it. And Allie, feel free at the end to talk about it in any more detail than myself. But it's basically, with that Indiana Golf Number, you get a Youth on Course membership to where there's various courses, not even throughout the state of Indiana, but throughout the country, that has this Youth on Course partnership to where players can play at certain golf courses at very discounted rates. And I think that's probably the most beneficial deal that you get out of this, is because you get that Youth on Course membership. You can go play at a lot of good golf courses that offer or are partnered with Youth on Course and play at a very discounted rate. So I think that's a really good deal there. Allie, am I missing anything in terms of Youth on Course that you wanted to touch on? Because I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so the Youth on Course is really great. It kind of works, those that are familiar with like Golf Now, there are certain time restrictions for some courses, but I do know that there are some pretty phenomenal courses that I wish I was 18 and under, because I would definitely go play those. So if you just go to Youth on Course and just happen to look up, I think I have heard that Spyglass might actually be on there if you're ever in the California area. But I do know locally we have some, and I know kids can play like Eagle Creek, and I think they might be able to play like Pleasant Run for like $5.
Yeah, that's a really, really good deal there. So definitely you can take advantage of that as well. And if you have any questions about that whatsoever, when you get that membership, you can reach out to us and we can get you set up for any reason if you have trouble. Just a couple other quick events I wanted to touch on that are team-based. I know that maybe a lot of you in this call have, done PGA Junior League before or been in first tee and kind of had that team aspect. So I kind of talked about the individual tournaments that we run, but the two kind of team events we run is our first one is called our Junior Team Championship, and that is on July 10th at Maple Creek Country Club. And basically the format of that is a 4-person, 1 best ball tournament, and each team can have one designated coach that can help them out as long as they follow the IHSAA coaching rules that we'll have there at the day of the tournament. And like I said, the format will be 4-person, 1 best ball, and you can mix. So players are able to pick their own 4-person team, and it can either be all girls, all boys, or a mixture of boys and girls on that team. We'll just separate it to where all girls will play one set of tees, and then the boys will play another set of tees there to make sure that we're staying fair in that aspect. And then everyone will be competing in one overall division, and we'll award the top 2 teams with plaques for that. So that's kind of a fun event. Like I said, you can create your own team. You'll have to pick your own partners. So if you sign up, as a single, you can, but we will not be able to assign you any kind of partner. So you're going to have to go ahead and sign up as for your partnership, for your partner there. And then another thing we have is called our team series events. So those events are 9-hole scrambles, and it's a 2-person team. So again, players are responsible for finding their own partners for this tournament. We're not going to be able to assign you a partner. And then they can also be, of opposite gender. So you could have, 2 boys, 2 girls, a boy and a girl. Totally fine there, like I said. But if you sign up as a single, you would just have to let us know at a later date, hey, I signed up as a single, but here's my partner. I'm not sure who my partner is going to be yet, but I'll let you know. And you can just reach out to me and let me know, and I can get them signed up for that. So when it comes to registration, the registration set up as an overall team fee, which is $30 for that 9-hole event. and only one partner is going to need to sign up for that, and it's required to enter their partner's name when they sign up. So once you get through that, you can put a partner's name to then sign up. Like I said, again, if you don't have a partner, you can just let me know at a later date, or we'll contact you and let you know that you need to find a partner for those events. And partners of different ages will be placed in the age division of the oldest player. So for example, say if an 8-year-old has a partner that's 13 years old and they want to play together as a team, totally fine, but they're going to play in that 13 to 15 age division. So we separate that team series event by 7 to 9, 10 to 12, and 13 to 15. So ages 7 to 15 can play. We'll separate them by 3 divisions, and they'll compete in 3 separate divisions. But like I said, we'll go, if they're different ages, we'll go by the oldest player and put them in that division to play in for that. So that's our junior team championship, and then our team series events as well. And another thing with the junior team championship, the entry fee for that would be $200 for the team. So basically $50 per player to play in. This is just a quick snapshot of our team series schedule. Like I said, we're at Maple Creek on July 10th. And then we're also at GCI, Anderson Country Club, Chatham Hills Executive Course, Woodwind Golf Course, and then Bridgewater Executive for our 5 team series events. So excited to go out there for those. And then lastly, this is kind of our registration and contact information. If you guys, want to take a snapshot of this, if you want to, get a membership as a junior prep tour, you'll just go to, real quick, you'll go to indianagolf.org. There's a blue tab that's called Juniors on our website. You'll just hover over that. Once you hover over that Junior tab, it'll bring a drop-down list where it'll say Become an Indiana Junior Golf Member. You're just going to click on that and then scroll down to where there's a gold button that says Register or Renew Membership there. When it comes to tournament registration, you'll just have to create that junior membership first, and then you'll have login credentials. You'll create your own username and password to then sign in and register for any kind of tournaments. And if you guys have any questions whatsoever, feel free to reach out to me, to my email or to my phone number. I'll be more receptive as we get into the summer months on my email compared to my phone. But I'll do my best to obviously, make sure I get back to you guys if you guys have any questions whatsoever. But for sure, email me, and I'm a lot more active on my email, especially in the summer when it gets busy there. And then I just have 2 QR codes down here for our 2025 junior tournament schedule that'll take you directly there, and then our junior program page on the right there. Okay, that's all we got. So if you guys have any questions, I think I saw